Hi, welcome back to Showing Up Whole, the space where we talk about alignment in mind, body, heart, and spirit in every aspect of our lives. Today, I want to talk about this coming full moon, this blue moon of ours that is here to help us step into not only this newer version of ourselves, the truer version of ourselves, but also to step into our leadership version of ourselves and what that actually means. Hi. Okay, so where do we even begin? We are at a blue moon. We are approaching that. It is tomorrow, which is Sunday, happening at various times in the happening at various times as they do. And as we are coming into what this blue moon really is, what I want to point out is that it is at the beginning of the window between this full moon and the solstice, which is on the 21st of June. So I want to kind of tie in those two events and the work that we need to be doing right now in order to be ready for the solstice, which is all about really that solar plexus season of tapping into our inner, deepest, brightest lights. Okay, so what does it even look like? First of all, what is a blue moon? Because other than a couple of songs or the saying of once in a blue moon, sometimes it's this phrase that nobody really knows what it actually is. So a blue moon is when you have two full moons in 1 month. It's a very rare occurrence. I think the next time we're having a blue moon is going to be in 2028, I believe. So within that, there's this sense of opportunity, there's a sense of possibility, and there's a sense of wanting to really take advantage of this full moon specifically. But what do we do to full moons? Well, with full moons, it is a time of releasing. It is a time of letting go of anything that is holding you back from the person you want to be, from the life you want to live, from the experience that you want to experience, even just the thing that's holding you back from really feeling a sense of fulfillment or satisfaction. Things that we release, like everything from money blocks to and a sense of scarcity to things like resentments or troubles that you're having, challenges that you're having in relationships or challenges, stories that you're telling in your work or in your parenting, or you get the picture. It's basically anything that is holding you back. It's like whatever you're carrying in your rucksack that's weighing you down on the journey of your life or have been weighing you down for this month period of time. Blue moon. Well, okay, so if you do any full moon rituals at all during the time, then there's a chance that you've already done some full moon in this month. And so therefore, here we are, another full moon, which means another opportunity. But this one, I'm actually really encouraging everyone I work with to take it a little deeper. Now, here's this interesting thing. We're building towards the solstice, like I said. And recently I was looking at a blog that I wrote last solstice. And I was talking about how we needed to be really releasing the layers of our light, shining out our light in order to help the world. Because the world, I mean, the world was in trouble this time last year, and the world is in trouble again this time in this year. But what was fascinating to me, and what always is fascinating when this shows up, is that it felt so different. Last year's solstice and the writing of that blog that was on my Substack, and I just happened to have attention drawn to it because someone else had read it. What I found fascinating was the fact that the sense of that solstice of 2025 was that sense of we need to uncover our lights. We are the lighthouses. We need to radiate out that light. I even started doing meditations for the month of for a 30-day period over on my Instagram of loving peace, of sending out light. It it was a powerful thing. This year feels different. This year feels different because we're being called to something a little bit more nuanced. This is a very nuanced thing. It's a little bit more specific. But what I find fascinating with it is that every single client that I work with over the last 2 weeks have come to me with this conversation. The conversation of leadership, the conversation of stepping into their expertise. And whether they actually meant to be leaders, and I'm doing flying quotes here, whether they intend to be leaders or teachers or healers, or not, whether they felt like they were experts or not. What was very, very apparent was what needed to be released, what needed to be let go of was self-doubt. The expertise didn't matter what it was in. It wasn't like what they had studied at school or what their job was or anything like that. It was standing, I mean, sometimes it was, sometimes that's the color that it came. But what was deeper, what was clearer, was this need to step into the expertise of being themselves. It was about them letting go of the worry about what other people thought of them, the stories that they told that they weren't good enough, the stories that they've been telling around feeling like other people were judging them or that other people knew more than them. It was knowing that they could speak up from an authentic place and letting go of the hesitation for speaking their truth. It was even standing past a sense of cancel culture or a sense of needing to be approved of all the time. Um, it was really claiming this different version of themselves. Now, it was interesting because, I've been working with these women for, quite a while, and all of a sudden this started to come up. I would say probably maybe around the last 3 weeks, we've been kind of talking about leadership. And then suddenly last week, a few of them came up with this massive wave of doubt. All of a sudden, it was that backlash, that sense of having kind of woken up the sleeping bear by claiming their leadership. And all of a sudden, this wave of insecurities, this wave of self-doubt, this wave of sensing it was all falling apart was coming up. And that is always a reminder that we're close to something, that you're close to breaking through. When the backlash is so strong from what you're working on, what you're releasing, when you're going and releasing something and all of a sudden you have this massive backlash of the opposite of what you're trying to create, then that is a really strong sign that you're shifting something, that the energy has shifted and you're experiencing that tidal wave. It's like the wave goes out and the wave comes in, and the wave goes out and then the wave goes in. That's what you're experiencing. I have to be fully transparent in this. I too have actually, over the last few weeks, been also experiencing this transformative wave. I have been observing myself as I step into a new version of my business. And nope, can't even find words for it. There is no way that I can actually find words of the shifts that are occurring. They are energetic, they are subtle, they are tweaking, fine tuning. It is maybe just an energy thing that I'm only going to be the one that actually feels the shift, but it is stepping into this next version of me, and I'm excited about it. I'm also having waves of insecurity, waves of kind of forgetting what I am leaning into and forgetting that leadership concept within myself. So we are I tell you that as a way of encouraging you to reflect upon yourself and ask yourself whether you too are actually needing to step into being expert of yourself. an expert of yourself, the leadership of yourself. You watch these women who are maybe further along on their life path, and you observe them just standing in their truth. And how often do we watch them and go, wow, they just claim themselves. They're just themselves. That is being an expert in yourself. It is being in the leadership of yourself. It is knowing your integrity, knowing your values, and not pushing them on others, not and yet not cowing down and not expressing them. It is understanding that every person is different, and yet within your own leadership, radiating out your own sense of integrity, your own energy. We talk about this stuff all the time in this work. All the time, we are talking about how to radiate out our light. And yet, I think often we have forgotten how to truly claim our light, and also that the fact that our light is not just this flashlight that we're shining out, it's not just this light. It's actually an intonation, a reflection, an inflection, a tone, a frequency of ourselves. And that is what we need to become experts in being. And so the opposite is self-doubt. The opposite is the nagging voice that tells you that people are going to stare, criticize, judge. The opposite is this sense of needing to kind of vanilla ourselves and resonate with what we are either told to resonate, what we feel we should resonate with, or trickier still, resonate with the version of ourselves we were last year. I had a fascinating conversation the other day at one of my meditation classes. We were talking about AI. We were talking about how also there is this general concept right now of people losing a sense of empathy. By the way, I am getting back to the blue moon. I haven't wandered off track. This is all building. Think of these as building blocks to your full moon. So we have noticed, I have noticed, my clients have noticed, my family has noticed, there's a general understanding that sometimes you are dealing with people and you can tell it's like the empathy dial has been turned down in the world. People aren't necessarily seeing other people as people. Now, if you read the Pope's massive paper on the AI and how we need to disarm or be aware of it, just consciously aware of it, one of the things that came up was that we risk having everyone seem like data, that we're just going to become data. And this conversation at this class basically led to the fact of saying, so instead of just focusing on AI bad, AI no good, AI is harmful, instead of putting our energy, where attention goes, energy flows, putting all our energy and focus on trying to figure out how to navigate the waters of something we don't understand. Instead, we should actually put attention on what we do understand and what is also within our control. And that is us. That is our own humanity, our sense of ourselves, our sense of integrity, our sense of values, our sense of how we present ourselves out into the world, how we radiate out our light out into the world, and also how we interact with other people's energy, how we interact with other people's human selves, how we actually ask them how their day is and really mean it, how we express our own empathy. That is where we claim our humanity. And when you remember that every single person is a different tonality and a different frequency, then your own frequency can engage with other people's, but you're not in charge of how they respond to you. You're not in charge of what they shift to. You're only in charge of what you resonate as. And as if you throw in a touch of empathy in your own frequency, then from that, then you are radiating out that you're connecting with other people, you're asking questions, you're engaging, you're standing in the leadership of yourself. Okay. Now we're going to get back into what the blue moon actually stands for in that and how we can use this energy. And if you're listening to this, and the blue moon was like 5 hours ago, 10 hours ago, 24 hours ago, 48 hours ago, it really doesn't matter because we are in this window from now until the solstice, which is on the 21st of June. So we're going to talk a little bit about that in 1 minute. I just need a drink of water and then we'll get back to it. Give me 1 sec. Okay, so we have us in this period of time. It is a blue moon. Blue moons are about releasing. Well, all full moons are about releasing. Blue moons are about releasing deeper. We have all observed that we're in a time of deep shedding. This year has been shedding and shedding and shedding. I don't know about you. I know personally, I've had so often wake up in the morning and memories will fly out of nowhere, things I haven't thought about for ages. And they're literally bubbling up for me in order to kind of wave a goodbye as I release them as they go. We are shedding the layers. And as we're shedding the layers, we are getting a deeper clarity about the energy of what we are, the frequency of who we are. Now, as I was talking about earlier, when we release, when we start to align by releasing or clarifying the frequency of who we are, stepping into that leadership, stepping into that expertise, really standing into our sense of present self, well, our brains kick in and our nervous systems kick in. And quite frankly, it feels really, really scary. And as it feels scary, then guess what happens? All of the old patterns come rushing back, or things like self-doubt come in to kick us to the curb. So we have to be very intentional and we have to be very, very clear with ourselves. And we have to know that this is a marathon, not a sprint. And what I mean by that is that you have to stretch this muscle of your leadership, your expertise, your claiming yourself energy. It's got to be a muscle that you stretch, and you have to know that some days you're going to be sore, and some days you're going to feel like not doing it. We all do. Quite frankly, I have had a week, people. I've had a week where so many parts of me did not want to do it. I didn't want to shift. I didn't want to change. I didn't want to claim it. And so then we have a lovely blue moon. And for a blue moon, it's when we finally decide. It's when you finally commit to actually doing it. If you've ever done an exercise program, like, okay, I watch my son and he's always doing his exercise programs, and I watch him commit, just saying, this is what I'm doing. Now, he might say, I'm doing it for 30 days. He might say that, okay, I'm going to do this for a certain period of time and then I'll check back in. That's fine. That's good. Do that like that. But it is important to commit, to tell yourself that you are fully choosing, fully deciding to claim the energy. You can be, I'm stepping into my leadership for 30 days. That's fine. So you have this rare occurrence of this blue moon. Ha, she's back to it. There we go. The blue moon is all about still releasing like a full moon. But what I'm really encouraging everyone I work with to do is to take this full moon and to use it as a way of releasing the self-doubt, the hesitations, the niggling voice that tells you not to bother. It's homeostasis. Homeostasis is that part of our physical selves that will always try to keep us on our baseline normal. It's the part of us that when we get too cold, it warms us up. When we get too warm, it cools us down. Over here in the UK, our bodies were trying to find homeostasis a lot because we've had some range of weather, but that homeostasis also is in our brains, and it always try to keep stories that keep us safe. Keep us safe, meaning keep us in the old way of being. So, blue moon, time to release the homeostasis. Time to fully shine. Time to do the work, at least, to shine. We're clearing out the layers. Okay, so now I mentioned blue moon, solstice. Solstice is solar plexus energy. This is your time where you really go, oh yeah, that was it. This is who I am. I'm ready to shine. I will be offering a workshop on the solstice, which I will be sharing information for soon. Make sure you keep in touch with all of my social medias because I will be talking about it shortly. I'm just putting some final details on it, but it will be a workshop about clearing out any of those little finagling little things that have been holding you back. And it will be about stepping into that light. We will be doing energy work. We'll be doing meditation. It will be wonderful. It'll be beautiful. It'll be powerful. And you will feel aligned after. Between now and then, between this blue moon and then, it's about going deeper, though. I can only do this with one-on-one clients. I can't do this in a workshop because we're looking at like 3 weeks. But it is about actually doing the nitpicking apart of saying what no longer belongs. What are the stories that have no place in your life anymore? What is holding you back from the person you are becoming? I don't want you to think of this in a cognitive way. I'm not saying, well, after the new moon, after the solstice, I am going to be brighter and I'm going to be more confident and I'm going to be more. No, don't try to give words to it. We are working with energy. We are working with how you feel in your body. So check in with yourself. Your heart will tell you. Your mind will tell you. You will be told things that need to be let go of. It's kind of amazing. Perfect example. So the other day, I woke up actually with this flood of memory. And I was I kind of I sat up in bed, kind of with wide eyes, and went, oh my goodness, that was like a core memory that stacked. I can't believe emotion code hadn't picked up on this one, but it was a core memory that everything else stacked upon. So I, here, I'll let you know. When I was 10 years old, I was cast as Alice in Alice in Wonderland. And it was a community production. It was an amateur theater, but still, it was like this was this was this was the creme de la creme. This was the prize, right? This is the local theater prize. And at 10 years old, I managed to get the role. I shared it with someone else. But still, it was a really exciting moment. And I remember getting the phone call, and I remember feeling this complete and utter wave of nervousness and excitement. And I started kind of dancing around the house of, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. And immediately I was told, maybe tone it down a bit because one of my sisters had also auditioned for the role. I didn't want to upset her. And I was also told, maybe don't express it too much. It might make other people, your friends might be upset. Other people will feel kind of jealous. And so I remember this all of a sudden hiding it, feeling this wave of kind of not expressing my success, not expressing my excitement. And so what led to that, what that basically led to was kind of me always feeling like I shouldn't share things because of what other people would think or say and how that would affect other people, rather than celebrating my own success. And I sat up with woken up. I woke up about this one. That's so interesting because actually that still is a general energy of myself. That is being written down tonight and burnt under the blue moon. That is something that no longer has a place because while I am very considerate of other people and I don't want to be boastful, I am allowed to feel my success. I have worked hard for my success. I have worked hard for the things that I do. And because of that, I am allowed to share. Because quite frankly, everybody can do their gifts. Everyone can work hard for what they are good at and what they want to do and to fulfill their dreams. So within that, honestly, these are the things that come up and they rise up. And as they rise up, they are there to be cleared out. If you take these next 3 weeks to get really deeply curious about yourself, to observe what's rising up, to put your hand on your heart and ask what is ready to be cleared, you'll find that you receive the images, the stories, the memories, the beliefs. They will rise up from you. And just write them down and let them go. You will find that you can set the intention and someone will say something and it will spark something within you. This isn't necessarily a cognitive, intellectual pursuit. And that is what so often we struggle with. That is what so often the work just turns into. We just do it in our heads, but our bodies have this deep wisdom. My solar plexus has been wacky lately. It has been bringing all this stuff up, churning, consuming, trying to figure out what it's creating next, because that's what the solar plexus does. Everything drops into it. It is a generator. It burns things up. It consumes, and then it radiates out. We are in solar plexus season. It is time to work with that energy. And it will be scary and it will be intimidating, but it doesn't matter because the alternative is to dampen your fire. And if you're dampening your fire, you're not going to feel that fulfillment and satisfaction of stepping into who you came to be. Okay. Write it down. Burn under the full moon if you can. Make sure that you are releasing any self-doubt, releasing the hesitation that's holding you back. Allow the stories to rise up and be cleared out. And no matter what, know that you are light. Know that you are a unique frequency, a unique energy, and that energy grows and changes. So we do actually have to relearn ourselves at certain periods of time. So give yourself permission to reinvent and use this season to commit to knowing yourself and being yourself a little bit more. Happy Blue Moon, everybody. And I'm sending you all my greatest love, light, and blessings.